Hi, I'm Faith McCann, and I've been a witch for over 40 years. And no, we are not evil. Learn more about the magical world and how the magical world affects your world right here on The Magical Alternative. And you don't have to be a witch to watch. Hello, magical ones. Welcome to the Magical Alternative. I'm your host, Faith McCann. And I'd like to welcome the crew of the Magical Alternative. Give them a hand. And welcome to November Sound. And tonight I'd like to start by giving a great congratulations to Community Voice Channel on receiving the Nonprofit of the Year Award for 2025. And not only did they receive the Nonprofit of the Year Award 2025 from the Talon County Chamber of Commerce, but they also, I'm gonna turn that around because that's super cool, they received from our United States Senator Richard Blumenthal for the state of Connecticut, a certificate of special recognition presented to Community Voice Channel in honor of receiving the Nonprofit of the Year Award. Just a special recognition, which is super, super cool. Give them another round of applause. So that's pretty nice and that's pretty fancy. So right there. So good job, Community Voice Channel. And we are super proud to be part of the Community Voice Channel family. So support public access. Well, tonight we're going to start off with some, I know this is our Christmas episode, but we're going to talk for just a second. We are actually taping this the first week in November, so we just had Halloween. So we're just going to talk for a minute about Halloween before we get to the holiday episode. We noticed online and on the news stations a number of videos that happened this last Halloween, and it's kind of crazy because it seems like there's a new type of Halloween scary monster out there. Let's call it the Halloween Karen, with women speed walking. Well, we thought they were speed walking. They apparently are actually exiting a crime scene, where they stop in their neighborhood and assault Halloween decorations. So let's take a minute and look at these here. They will go into these neighborhoods where you have witches very nicely set up with other Halloween decorations. They're secular. There's nothing, evil about them. They're just something you buy in the store. And as you could see here, these women are going by with their morning walk, and then they stop and come back and actually physically beat up these Halloween decorations. Ladies, what's happening? Obviously, goat yoga, tai chi, kombucha, rage room, screen therapy. It's not working for you. Now we're attacking Halloween decorations. When you don't have enough scary monsters in your neighborhood during trick or treat, we can now introduce the new scariest creature, the Halloween Karen. So I'm confused though. I thought the war was on Christmas. What is going on? I don't know. I wonder if they actually knew they were on camera or if they realized it was going to be like broadcast all across the country, if they would have adjusted their behavior. But anyway, would you if you knew you were going to be on television. Well, anyway, tonight we're going to have a fun and interesting show. It's our holiday show. Happy Christmas, Yule, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Winter Solstice, Bodhi Day, Feast of the Immaculate Conception, St. Nicholas Day, Christmas Eve is a holiday for a lot of people in and of itself, even the season of Advent. Now, all of those happen during this particular time of the year. Some actually start in November, some actually are toward the end of December into January, but this is a time of year where there's a lot of celebrations going on. So a couple of them we're going to talk about, which a lot of people aren't really very familiar with. You might have heard of Yule, Yuletide. Well, that's the winter solstice. That is what we celebrate, which is pagans, non-Christians. We tend to celebrate the winter solstice, and it is an agricultural calendar that we follow that is metaphoric for many of us today. We plant ideas, and we try to nurture them in our community and hopefully harvest a more abundant community and a happier and healthier society. So I'm going to take this time to talk to you about my backpack initiative. People have made the mistake of thinking we're talking about children. These are backpacks that we get together, and I try to get people to contribute. We put things in there that people that are living on the streets of our local communities can benefit from, say, maybe a six-pack of some type of nutritional drink to really, really warm socks, hats, gloves, the emergency Mylar emergency blankets that paramedics and EMTs will use, for instance, for accident victims. Those will help keep somebody warm in the case of freezing temperatures. It's not ideal, but it could be the difference between life and death. We put as many different things in there for hygiene, personal care, for their own dignity, for toothpaste, toothbrushes, hairbrushes, deodorant, things like that. And we try to find those out there in the community that can benefit. We hand them out. We don't expect anything from it. If you'd like to know how you can get involved, please contact me at enchantmentct, as in Connecticut, CT, @gmail.com, and I will give you all the information I can to help you start this type of initiative in your community. Thank you. There are some holidays that we celebrate this time of year that are not associated with Christmas. And some people don't realize that. I think because it all kind of happens around the same time of year, they automatically assume they're all the same, and they're not. So let's talk about a couple of them. Hanukkah, for instance, has literally nothing to do with Christmas. It is an 8-day Jewish festival of lights. It commemorates the rededication of the Second Temple of Jerusalem and celebrates a miracle of a single day's worth of oil lasting for 8 days. It is celebrated with the nightly lighting of a menorah, special prayers, and traditional foods, most of them fried in amazing olive oil, and they're so delicious. Now, this event took place on the 25th of the Hebrew month of Kislev, which on the Gregorian calendar falls between November and December. Now, the rededication of the Second Temple occurred in the year 164 BCE, which was 158 years before any conception of the Immaculate Conception. So, I crack myself up, I'm sorry. But it's true. It was 158 years before the concept of Jesus Christ and Christmas. So it is a special holiday for the Jewish people that's very significant. It's one of many Jewish holidays, and a lot of people want to smush it in there with the Christmas holiday, but it is separate in and of itself. It just happens to fall, like our Yule, falls in the wintertime for the winter solstice, which is around December 20th and the 21st. Ours for Yule is the winter solstice, which is the shortest day, the longest night, and after that one 24-hour period, the days start to get imperceptibly, for a very long time, lighter. So that's our midwinter. I know people are like, what? Midwinter? It's just starting to get cold, but it is our midwinter as we start moving closer to spring. We have Bodhi Day, which is a Buddhist holiday commemorating the day that, and I'm going to totally mess up this name, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, achieved enlightenment or awakening through meditation. It's celebrated on different days throughout the world, with some countries observing it on December 8th and others on the 8th day of the 12th lunar month. And then we have Kwanzaa, a secular festival observed by many African Americans from December 25th to January 1st as a celebration of their cultural heritage and traditional values. So it's a time of year where people are stuck inside. It's not warm enough to be outside playing and having a good time. I know people are all into the winter sports and the skating and the skiing, and that's great. But a lot of people are inside by choice. I'm one of them. I'm not a big fan of the winter. And celebrating and being with one another and family and friends is just a really nice way to celebrate this cold time of the year. Well, tonight, to celebrate with us, we have in studio our guest, Nefertiti Amen. Let's give her applause. And we continue our informative discussion with our good friend and magical scholar, Mr. Gavin Bone, discussing many things about the runes that you may not know about. So, always love having Gavin with us. We were invited into a private reunion with a tight group of Vietnam War American soldiers who first met overseas and have come back together to find that their friendship has remained as tight as it was over 50 years ago. I'm excited to introduce you to the Alpha Company, 1st and the 12th, 1st Cav Division, U.S. Army, who served their country during the Vietnam War. Give me a hand. And now for November Sound. Give them a hand.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbye. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Snow, let it snow. and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
My in-studio guest tonight, super excited to introduce you to Nefertiti Amen. Give her a hand, everyone. And welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Now, I met you recently, and you have a lot of stuff going on in Manchester. So would you mind sharing with my audience who you are, what you do, what your focus is? And I was just fascinated to meet you.
Well, I'm glad to be a fascinating character on your journey. I am not a Connecticut or Manchester native. So I've definitely found a way to immerse myself in this community and try to make in some way a mark. My passion in this world is culture and community and just wellness. And so I merge a lot of that together in what I'm doing. Educationally, I'm just completing my degree in anthropology. I'm also a certified as well as initiated holistic practitioner. And that's across many spectrums with women's health and specifically with community health and wellness. And so that's what my focus here in Manchester is now. I also have a little one, so I also try to make a lot of cross connections with children specifically, and really just healing, and our community starts with our child and children's wellness. So that sort of combination is what I focus on.
No, I think that's wonderful. So you told me before that you have your own business. What exactly is that called?
Yeah, so my business is called Root and Remedy, LLC. And then I also have like a sub arm of that, which is called the Roots and Culture Lab. Yes. And then we also do gatherings. So Root and Remedy is more the, I guess, the umbrella of what I do. And it's really, again, focused on holistic wellness, helping answer questions. So I also do a podcast where we talk about ceremony and really the science of ceremony. And ceremony is really a focal point because traditionally that's how we as a community would come together, is through ceremony, through celebration, things like, Christmas, we see it now, but, in our own traditional ways, the ways that our ancestors practice. So we talk a lot about that, and we do that through a more modern approach. We do that on a very specific level, through just health, or it could be through food, it could be through specific ceremonies that people are partaking in at certain times. So all those sorts of conversations we talk about. And then I also offer products. So I do a lot of handmade products of my own.
Oh, nice.
Incenses, hydrosols. The list goes on. Jewelry.
wow,
I also
that's
do a lot of like traditional comedic games and kits and things that families and kids can use.
That's so important because everybody's online now. So a game where somebody can just sit and play together
Exactly.
and just kind of or what do they call it, unplug. That's so important. Oh, I love it. Oh, I know you recently had a gathering and that was huge. So how did that turn out?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I mentioned is kind of like that or that subcomponent or that arm of my business called Roots and Culture.
Yes.
And so at the 153 Spruce Street, so
Yes.
the community center right there, we've been doing a lot of community gatherings there. And so that was the one that you're speaking about.
Yes.
That was, we were doing a roots and reggae
Yes.
event. And it went really well. We had a great turnout, and the space is small. So, you know, when you have, 30, 40, 50 people in there,
It was great. Yeah.
it fills pretty quickly. And what was really nice was, having those doors open. That was one of the reasons I wanted to do it there, was that there are people that knew about the event, but there were also people that didn't. And hearing the music, people were walking by.
That's so
And
important.
at the end of the event, people stayed and they came up to me and they were like, when are you doing this again?
Yes.
What is this? And that
Yes.
was really the most important element of that. And people loved it. It was something that was new, that wasn't really, that hasn't been happening here specifically in
Not here.
Manchester.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it just kind of enlivened, and brought some vibrancy just to that space there here in Manchester.
I
Yeah.
think that's great. I mean, we need more of that, and I would love to see more, small towns take the risk. What are you planning for the upcoming, culturally, for the upcoming holiday season? I don't know if you were here during the beginning of the show, but we were talking about the different holidays we celebrate, and not just the, ones around Christmas. We were talking about Yule and about Kwanzaa and about Hanukkah. And do you have one specific to your culture that you are going to try to share with the community?
Well, I do. We are going to be holding an event on the winter solstice. So for me, that is my holiday.
That's our holiday.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
And I think there's a lot of names for it, and I have different ancestry. So I would say I'm really the main sides of my ancestry. They celebrate it, by different names, that particular demarcation, in the shift in time. And so we are going to be holding an event December 20th. We're going to be calling it an evening in ancient Kemet. And in Kemet is
Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah.
And so we are going to be doing some Kemetic yoga. We're going to be doing some music, some spoken word. We're going to have some dance performance. And then we're going to also be doing some sort of hands-on activity, a magical, ancient Kemetic-y sort of vibesy activity
Nice.
while they're enjoying all of the festivities and the performances. And then also we're going to be providing, I always do like a sort of snack bar.
Yes.
But this one in particular will have a focus of from East Africa. So we'll be doing some snacks from East Africa, some teas and chocolates, so people can really feel that sort of transport to
wow.
that time.
Oh, well, I want to be there. But that's our side
You're invited.
too. I know. Because I love that. I'm very interested, especially in the East African food. Because I used to be a chef, and my whole thing was just foods from around the world. I just love them. So I'm really excited to find out more about that. So very cool. So how do you feel personally that you've been accepted by the community?
Yeah, I think, my journey in life has been one where, in some way, being the newcomer, is not new, So that I would say, that meeting and that acquaintanceship, developing with the community, that process, and that's my work as a community healer, And I would say there's been definitely some conversation of like, I would feel some contention, not towards me, but that the community feels like am I sure that I really want to bring culture, that sort of cultural element to Manchester?
Really?
They want it, but they have felt like up until this point, there's been a lot of, I would say, intention around not having that brought here. There's been a lot of lack, just maybe based on the demographics or whatever. But there's definitely been some like, oh, are you sure? Oh, wow, you're going to be doing that. And then as it's happening, and I've been really connecting with. I'm also a parent ambassador for the town of Manchester, so I also have some other
Parent ambassador.
a parent ambassador.
Oh, that's
yes.
awesome.
So I also have some fields and connections as well in the community. So it's allowed me to kind of get a step up and to help move along some of the work that I'd like to do. And I feel like people getting to know me and seeing what's possible, but I think ultimately experiencing it. When they
Yes.
experience it, when you hear the music or you see the people that have come or you leave with something new, I think that people, they don't realize how hungry they are. And then they walk away from it feeling satiated in a way that they never felt that they could. And then they're like, oh, well, when's the next one? Oh, connect me with this. Oh, let's do more of this. Yeah. And it's quickly growing. It's quickly picking up. There's definitely an interest.
Yes.
So I think there's a point that we're pushing past, but I think for the better. Yeah.
I love it. I know I felt that going back 20 some odd years now, and exactly what you said, where people came in very well meaning, like, are you sure you want to open a store like that in Manchester? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And they're like, okay. And yeah, eventually you pass that tipping point where people, now depend on you. So yeah, I think you're in a good place, and you're going to find that the voices that are in opposition are louder, but they're fewer in number. So just stick with it. I think you're going to find so many people that support you.
Thank you.
And it's so great. I'm so glad you're here. And it's so glad that you're here on the show. So everyone, give her a hand. And we're going to put your information here so people can find you and look out maybe your website and other information where they can find out more about you. So
Thank you.
everyone, Nefertiti Amen. Thank you. Welcome back. Tonight, we have for our guest, again, a wonderful guest of Magical Alternative, a good friend, and the author of The Inner Mysteries, Healing Craft, Lifting the Veil. Everyone, give a hand for Mr. Gavin Bone.
Surely we can talk to the gods. So they would inscribe sticks or other things, and what they would do is they give offerings and messages to the gods, burn these sticks with runes on as a message to the gods.
Our petitions today.
Okay, help me against the Romans.
Yeah.
Or something similar. Now, what's the next stage? Well, now we get to, that's magic.
Yeah.
That's magical practice. So now from that comes the use of runes as being energies in the universe which you can manipulate. So it involves from worship of God to asking gods for help, to basically using runes by writing them in runic scripts to basically manipulate the forces around you. And the third stage is this: if you can talk to the gods can talk to you. And this is where you get divination with runes.
Do we know around the time that that concept became understood?
There's a couple of sources. The most famous comes from the Roman historian Tacitus, who writes in 98 AD about German tribesmen, particularly the father of the tribe, in other words, the head of the tribe or the priest, carving symbols onto pieces of wood from a nut tree and throwing them down onto a white cloth, and he would throw 3 down, and then he would read them, and then if the auspices were good, positive, he would throw more down. Now that does very much like he's talking about runes, the inscriptions. There's a couple of other sources as well. In Anglo-Saxon, there's a Christian monk called the Venerable Bede, who talks in his ecclesiastical history about the old Saxons would basically, again, use lots before a battle. So we also have that in Anglo-Saxon. We have a story about a ship at sea, also from Anglo-Saxon, where there's not enough food, so they have them basically draw lots again, draw runes to decide who is going to go overboard.
Oh,
who
geez.
gods have decided should leave.
Oh.
So there's also a Greek historian, Plutarch, again, talks about a barbarian army. This is about 75 BC. Again, drawing lots to decide what directions the army would go in to attack the enemy. So we've got this evidence, but it's only Tacitus Germania from 98 AD, which really suggests that this is the use of runes. So that means this is very important, because it means there's no hard and fast rules written down to how to use runes for divination. Those rules don't get laid down until the 1920s and 1930s by German rune magicians.
Really? That late? And still in Germany?
Yes, there's a revival. It's important to look, excuse me, it's important to look at what happens with Christianity. Runes don't really get made illegal. They really go out of fashion. As people become Christianized in Europe, they sort of go underground. Some do survive. You get runes survive in an area of Sweden called Dalarna. And actually, they take one of their stones, they continue using runes up until the 20th century. And most of you have heard of these runes because they get exported to the United States. Ever heard of the Kensington runestone?
No, it sounds like just one stone.
It's a big stone. Okay, this is about a couple of feet high, a foot wide. It's covered in runes, and it was found in the States.
Oh, really?
And everybody said, "Oh my God, it's proof the Vikings were there," but it was actually taken there from the Dalarna district in Sweden, and it's covered in basically what are referred to as Dalkalian runes. So that's the only place where there's a continued survival.
Huh.
What you get is these academics from about the 16th century start to get interested in runes again. People like Johannes Magnus, Johannes Burius. There's a famous one known as Old Worm or Lars Urbanius, who's actually Danish. And he writes several books, but nobody's really quite sure what they are. And it's important, they're not really talking about divination. Most of them are talking about archaeological finds. They're talking about rune stones. The English academics of the period are talking about the big high crosses in England covered in runes.
Oh, okay.
Then you get the first major work, and that's from an interesting source. And that's, of all people, Wilhelm Grimm.
Really?
Yeah. One of the Grimm brothers.
One of the Grimm brothers. We just talked about them.
Yeah, he's got an absolute fascination with the runes. And he writes a book called Über Deutschen Runen, on the German runes. And that's sort of about 1827.
Oh.
And that triggers an interest in runes in Germany in the 19th century. And then you start to get more interest, people like Guido von List. Then you have various rune magicians from the 1920s and 30s who are adopting the runes. And interestingly enough, this is where a really strange connection comes in. Crowley's OTO.
Crowley.
Yeah, many of the German rune magicians of the 1920s and 30s were originally members of the Ordo Templi Orientis, and they split from Crowley when he becomes head of the order, and they adopt runes into Western magic. This is what they do. There's figures like Frederick Marby, Ernst Tristan Curzan, Karl Spiegler, Siegfried Kummer. Now, they influence a very famous modern writer. They influence a writer, and it was my second rune book, Edward Thorson.
Oh.
So a lot of his material is actually coming from that source. It's not coming from older sources.
Yes.
Because it's coming actually from the 1920s and 30s, particularly from Siegfried Kummer.
And Thorson's book was written when?
That was written, let me have a quick look. It's a good book to have, but it's important when you look at runic sources.
I think I might actually have that book.
He published it in 1984.
Yeah, I think I have that book.
So it's really got a lot of influences from that period. It's a good book, it's good material. But you see, that's the problem. There was so little of practice.
Thank you, Gavin Bone, over there in Ireland. And say hi to Janet for us. We love having you, and so much information about runes. We can't get enough from you, and we look forward to having you back again soon. Thank you, Gavin. Well, this story I want to tell you about actually goes back several years, about 13 years ago. I had met my husband decades ago, over 40 years ago. And when I met him, I knew he was a vet from the Vietnam War. He had been wounded in Vietnam, permanently and totally disabled. And when I first met him, he was really great he still is. But he would tell me all kinds of stories about the war. A lot of vets just choose not to share, and I totally respect that. But I was reading all kinds of books and asked him all kinds of questions. I wanted to know everything, and he would be really great, telling me his experiences. And the day he got shot was a big ambush. And I remember he would tell me a story that always stood with me about how when he got wounded, they put him on a stretcher and he handed his camera and his film to his buddy, Joe, and said, "Get this back to me in the States." And he was taken, I believe, to Tokyo and then back to the United States and spent a year and a half in a hospital in New York City. It's not there anymore, but it was called St. Albans. And the guys, he didn't know what happened to them. They didn't know what happened to him. And fast forward 42 years. March 28th, that was the anniversary that the big battle happened, called Bushimao. And the phone rings in our house. And I answer it, and this gentleman was like, "Mrs. McCann, you don't know me, but my name is Joe Land. You wouldn't happen to have a Tim McCann that got wounded in Vietnam there, would you?" "Yeah, I went on the couch. You want to talk to him?" So I handed the phone over, and I'm listening to my husband talk, and after a few minutes, he's just like, an expletive, "Where's my camera?" My film. And I was like, no way. There's no way you're talking to this guy that I had been hearing, I don't know, it was almost 30 years at that point. We had been married. I'd been hearing these stories. Well, to make a really long story short, we just went down to Virginia, where they have a reunion every so many years. It was really amazing. Now I'm going to let these guys and their interview that we went, they were really kind because we went down to this reunion and they had no idea. I didn't even know. We had no idea that we were going to ask them about this. But as we were on our way, we were talking about it, and I was like, "Do you think they would want to talk to us on the show about their experiences. And my husband's like, well, why don't you ask them? And so I did, and they were all really amazing and were willing to share their story. So I'd like to let you listen to it now. Thank you. And how many people do you think you called before I'm recording you now?
I probably called maybe at least 200 to 300. I would say
200 to 300.
at least over that 5-year period after I found out that he was alive. It was a few hundred. It might have been 500. I don't know. I would just usually about Bougie Mount time when I would reflect mostly on Timmy and other people we lost.
And this is March.
That was when I would make most of the calls, and that was at least a dozen or 20 calls
before the internet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was I wasn't real savvy with the internet. The internet was out. But,
Didn't you say, if I got this correct, that it was your visit to the Vietnam Veterans Wall in Washington, and
I
you
didn't see Timmy's name on the wall. Yeah,
And
and I looked
that
at March 28th, and I saw all the other guys. March 28, 1970. I saw all the other guys' names on the wall, but I didn't see Timmy's name, and I said, "This isn't right," So then I started doing homework, and like I said, it took 5 years. But that trip to the wall was around 2000, I think.
yeah.
That when I was up there.
We did the peaches and pound cake when we went to the wall. Would you tell that story?
Well,
Why we did that?
When Timmy and I and Faith went up there, Timmy and I brought peaches and pound cake because it's looking out. Right before we got hit, I had the pound cake or vice versa. One of us had peaches, the other had pound cake, and we were getting ready to share. And then boom, so we finished our peaches and pound cake at the wall all those years.
Because your dessert got interrupted in Vietnam.
And actually, a reporter was up there and he wrote the story. I don't know what paper, I never saw the paper, but he did a story on us.
Oh, really?
About that whole ordeal.
I didn't know that. Did you know that Peaches and Pound Cake is an actual song or a poem that was written about the military? I think it goes back to maybe World War I or II. Yeah. It's something to do with, the military. I was shocked to see it myself.
But on your presentation, I just want to say that finding this guy was the most magical thing that ever happened. It was like I just couldn't believe it. Timmy, I looked at your wounds and mouth, and I was trying to cheer you up because I knew you were dying, and it broke my heart. You were my best friend, and I lost Red the day before. Red. I came in country with Red. Yeah, Timmy and I used to go to. When we were down in Benoit, right before Bougie Mao, we had lunch at that Vietnamese restaurant in Benoit with Red. We were sitting at the table with him, and Red was Canadian. So he got hit March 27th. He was one of the first ones killed at Bougie Mao. So Red was Canadian, Baxter Warren. And Timmy and I were good friends with Red. But Timmy and I were going to opium den afterwards, and Red wouldn't go with us. So Timmy and I went to the O-Den.
He went and got his picture taken.
Yeah, Red got his picture taken. Yeah, that was that picture that's on the wall. But we got in touch with Red's brother years later. Juicer and I went up and saw him up in Toronto.
Oh, really?
Up in Canada. Yeah, we did a tribute, and I mean, look at Juicer. That's you, buddy. Get that shot, Faith.
Oh, my God.
That's Juicer.
That's Juicer.
Under the witness protection program.
Okay.
So Juicer and I drove up to Canada, and that's a whole other story.
So you all met for the very first time in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
And this is how many years now later for all of you guys?
55.
I didn't think there was going to be any math involved. It's a long time ago.
56 years.
Yeah, 69. I was 70.
55, 56.
Both thin and extremely good looking.
Still thin and extremely good looking.
I was just good looking.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah,
I volunteered for that.
18?
You volunteered?
I had I had to get a
Dennis?
signature for my folks.
Turned 21 in basic.
Really?
And you turned 21 in basic, Bill.
Yeah.
Did you get
Is that
drafted?
thing loaded?
Yeah, it's running. Did you get drafted or did you enlist?
Yes, I got drafted.
Yeah. Where were
No
you?
man about come unglued when I said, well, I should just go to Canada.
How old were you when you were in Vietnam? I turned 21 in June over there.
Did you do all full 2 years?
4 months, they said.
I did a total of 5 years. I stayed in the period.
Oh, so you stayed in Vietnam.
I stayed in the Army.
Oh, you stayed in the Army. Did you do all that time overseas or?
Two years in Germany, a year
Oh.
and a half at Fort Benning, Georgia,
Okay.
and then a year and 2 years in Germany.
Okay. So you liked it more than you not.
And that didn't work out too good.
No.
That's a whole nother story.
Okay. And Tim, where were you when you got drafted? When you got your draft notice? Thank you.
Living at home.
Living at home.
Last I remember.
Where were you, Joe, when you got your draft notice?
I was in Queens, New York. I was in Flushing. I was on the Brampton. But I was,
It found you anyway.
huh?
It found you anyway.
They found me. It took them 16 months, but they found me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but without that, we wouldn't all be here.
That's right.
Guys.
That's a really amazing way to look at that.
I mean, if I had gone in when I got drafted, none of this would be here. Now.
Yeah.
Different group.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, that would really help you out.
I would have been in
Teach
jail.
you a few things.
Now, where were you when you got drafted, Bill?
I was living with my sister and brother-in-law.
Yeah.
It was January 3rd, 1969.
Wow. Do you remember that? How old were you?
I was 20.
20.
My dad's draft notice said, your friends and neighbors have selected you. My draft notice said, you're hereby ordered to report.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Greetings from your
Ah.
friends and neighbors.
Yeah,
That's what it
like-
was. Mine was signed by Nixon.
Wasn't it at the time?
Yours was signed by Nixon?
Your
Wow.
well, that
That
was
was later.
afterwards. Report for duty.
Report for duty. Now, Dennis, you said that you enlisted.
A volunteer draft. I was 17 years old. And I
Oh.
went down to sign up for the draft, and they says, well, I says, put my name on the top of the list. My mother and dad had to sign for it
Okay.
to let me volunteer draft because I wasn't 18. So my mother says, yeah, that's fine. My dad says, oh, no. So my mother worked on him for 3 days. Finally, my mother says, he says, how you feel if he doesn't go in? 3 months from now, he wraps himself around a telephone pole or something. They had a little problem driving, especially after a late night out.
Ah.
And as Joe would say, my mother thought I was safer going to Vietnam than I would be hanging around at home.
Ah.
So I ended up over in Vietnam and I drank a few beers over there, and somehow I ended up with the name of juicer, but not just juicer, it was stud juicer.
Stud juice.
I drank all the beer in Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Ridley, did you get drafted or did you enlist?
I got totally drafted.
Totally drafted.
I just, the day I graduated from college, I got my draft notice.
Mm.
And so, oh, my mom won't like this.
Oh, no.
You should have never graduated from college, really.
See what happens?
Yeah.
Aren't you glad?
So besides Tim and Bill, you were wounded in the service also?
Yeah, somebody shot me.
Somebody shot you.
Joe said his name was Charlie.
I forgot
He didn't
today's
even know.
It was an enemy. Okay.
So not only you do the indignity of being shot,
Mm.
and then where I got shot,
Yeah.
but it's also you got to put up with the smell of burnt flesh.
Oh, that's awful.
I mean it.
How did you get out of the field after you got shot?
With difficulty.
With difficulty. Helicopter? Oh, so he came with you also?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know you two were together on the
I
helicopter.
don't know if they had anybody else, did they?
Yeah, it was full. It was jam
Was
packed.
it?
I sat on the other side of the door gunner.
I remember it was very, very cold. I was freezing
really?
all the
Okay.
way.
It was kind of nice though. I mean,
Probably in shock. Yeah. What's your name?
Well, it's Thomas Gifford, but I go by Tim.
Oh, hi, Tim. And were you drafted or you can eat your peaches and pound cake because we were just talking about the peaches.
I was drafted, but I joined to become an officer.
I was wondering about that because you're an officer. You were drafted, but then you decided to
Yeah,
join.
well, I joined.
So,
because I wanted to be an officer.
yeah. How long did you stay in?
2 years, 10 months, 6 hours, and 15 minutes. Amen.
Wow, yeah.
Seconds.
And how did you find yourself leaving the service?
My time was up, and I was as a combat lieutenant. They wanted to make me a captain.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to go back as the company commander. They needed, experienced guys to take over the company, and I wasn't going. And that was in '70, so they were still sending guys back, even though they were winding them down.
Yeah.
And plus, then I knew I'd probably get drifted because I had an OCS commission, not a academy or a ROTC commission. So that's, I'm the low guy in the telephone.
So when your 2 years were up, you could
I
leave,
just got out. Yeah.
even if you were an officer. Oh, that's great. So,
Plus, I got hit, face 3 times.
so you were wounded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't you tell?
Yeah. What's your name?
The name's Fran Doyle.
Hi, Fran.
I was in Vietnam February 69 to February 70.
Oh, okay.
Lieutenant Gifford here was my platoon captain. Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, yeah.
Okay. So you were only in 1 year.
Well, I was in Vietnam for 1 year.
Oh, and
I
then
was drafted. I was in for 2 years, but you're really in for 6 years doing nothing the last 4.
oh, okay.
Unless they needed you.
Okay. So you got sent home after a year in Vietnam.
Yeah, I had more than 6 months to do, so they sent me down to Fort Hood, which is the home base of the first cab.
Oh, yeah. And everybody here was in the first cab.
Yes, everybody here was in the first cab. Most of the guys here, except for Lieutenant Gifford, were after me.
You got bus for me.
I think the last 3 months or so I was with them, but didn't know them that well.
Okay.
So that's my
Yeah.
story.
All right. And you got out safely? You weren't
I
injured?
got out
Oh,
safely.
great. That's great.
I
Yeah.
had malaria. But
Oh.
other than that,
Yeah.
no wounds.
Oh, that's good.
I'd like to say that it was a very good experience. I would not have traded it for anything.
Yeah,
I
why is
wish I
that?
didn't have to go,
Yeah.
but I went, but I wouldn't have traded it for anything.
Really, that's awesome. Because I was going to ask you guys what you felt when you, what did you feel about Vietnam when you first knew you had to go?
I really didn't really think about it. All I know is I had to go.
You had to go. And so when you came home, what did you think about it?
I totally tried to forget it when I came home,
Yeah.
and I did most of it.
What's your name, sir?
Ray St. John.
Hi, Ray. How long were you in?
I was in Vietnam from October of 69 to October of 70.
A year. So did everyone only go over for a year? Except
Yes. I got there July 4th of 69, but I went to officers when they left the country. I went to jungle warfare and the 3 weeks in Panama, and that counted as time over there. So I left.
So you were there for a year and then you came back and you were okay? Or
Yeah,
did
no, I was.
you were wounded?
You can't.
They did drops back then if you're under 6 months, and I got a 10-day drop out of the service. I was so happy.
Oh, really? So they were able to send you back home and you finished up here?
I was in a different platoon than most of these guys were. I was in 2nd platoon, and I spent 10 years volunteering at the VA hospital.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Yeah.
4 years as a surgeon counselor.
Oh, that's
for
wonderful.
PTSD and
Yeah, that's so important.
working with vets that had committed or attempted suicide. And I have my service dog to thank for all these years that I've made it since then.
And your name is? Don. You're a medic in Vietnam, but you got a Silver Star?
Yes.
Would you talk to us about that? That's incredible.
No, they've all talked about it, I'm sure.
I haven't heard about it. No, they just mentioned it a second ago.
And you earned it, buddy.
Just there, doing what I was supposed to do.
Did you get wounded? Is it like a Purple Heart? Oh, it's for bravery.
I was just, they were wounded and I went.
How long were you there?
I was there about 11 and a half months.
11 and a half months. That was enough for you.
I guess.
Oh, yeah. They told me I could go home.
See ya. I'd like to thank my husband and Alpha Company 1st and 12th of the 1st Cav Division, U.S. Army, who served their country during the Vietnam War and were so kind as to let me interview them at their private reunion and for sharing their stories. And as always, we thank you guys for your service and for all that you've done for us. So thank you so much. I'd like to thank my in-studio guest, Nefertiti Amen of Roots and Remedy. I want you to check her stuff out. Is it your dream to be on television? To have your own TV show? So how do you do it? Consult your local public access television station in your town, have a concept, get some friends together, and they will help you make your dream a reality. It doesn't cost anything. But it's so much fun. We have such a good time. And you get your message out, you get your vision out, you get to affect people in your community. So consider, if you have something you want to share with people, consider contacting your local public access television station, because they'll help you with that. So finally, this is the first time in 2 years we can say all the hostages are home. So let's keep focusing on peace in the Middle East, peace here at home, peace in the world, and Slava Ukraini, America z vami. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. And if you see this on one of our streaming platforms, please consider liking and sharing. Have a great rest of your night, and blessed be.